So to start off, you had 4 different players score today. Can you talk about the depth of the team?
Yeah, it's great, you know, when other people get on the scoreboard. Kaylee Frackton, I think, her first of the year, and Caroline Campbell, the first of her career. So real good for us that the multiple people could score. After the first period, I thought we were a little bit all over the place, you know, working hard, but playing a little too wide open, and we sort of tightened it up, and you know, we still got our opportunities to score, and thankfully we did. You know, Shorty ended a power play goal and a few even strength wins. So nice day all around.
You're still missing a lot of players again. Can you talk about how your team kind of just came together and got the win here?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think we played well against Boston College. You know, over there, obviously, I think we did a pretty good job. In here, though, we were just a little too wide open. And you know, after the first period, I look back and say maybe we should have dialed it down a little and not chase them or forecheck as hard as we did. But that day's behind us, and today, I think, you know, after a little bit of an up and down, too wide open first period, we really, you know, played a real good second period where I think we outscored them 3-0, outshot them 9-10, 11-1, and those are good signs that you're playing pretty hard on both ends of the ice.
What did Brucey's return mean to you today?
Well, I mean, she's one of those real consistent defensemen. You know, she's a defensive defenseman who also helps us out on one of our 2 power play units. But without a doubt, to have depth, what she really meant was that we were able to put Caroline Campbell up to forward. And Caroline's a strong kid who's a, you know, real good skater, powerful skater. And you know, we weren't absolutely looking for her to score goals, but she had a couple days in practice where she started to get comfortable there. And you know, that was kind of the other bonus, that we have 6 back there, or once in a while even 5. You know, you can move somebody up front. It could be a Kaylee Frackton, it could be Caroline, but she did a fantastic job there today, and was real happy she got rewarded with a goal.
Can you talk about the power play? I mean, you had three defensemen playing the power play today. What was the idea behind that?
Well, I think part of it is that, you know, those are all pretty good, talented hockey players, and, you know, you try to get some of your best players out there. They've all played the power play before, so, you know, when you're on the flanks, Kaylee and Tara on the flanks, and Catherine up top, you know, they're all almost assuming defenseman type of positions, you know, or positions that are somewhat neutral. It could be a forward, could be a D, but you know, again, I think they moved the puck around pretty well. And we got a big, you know, tip in from Kaylee with Casey. It was maybe a little bit of a broken play off initial rush back to the point. Kaylee comes out of the corner and Casey puts one right on the ice, and she can tip in the net. But you know, they don't all have to be pretty. They just got to get the red light on.
Both of New Hampshire's goals came off of power plays. Your penalty kill's been pretty good so far this season. What happened tonight?
I think the first one, you know, they just threw one at the net and it got deflected, and you know, that's a credit to them. Sometimes, again, it doesn't have to be set up, it doesn't have to be all kinds of passes, and they got it made. I think one pass to get wristed at the net and deflected off. I don't know if it was an ankle or a stick, or what found its way in. And the second one, we had one person fall, I think, and we had one person kind of get swung a little bit to the outside. So now they got in a threatening position, and again, one of those ones that had eyes. Maybe early in the year they weren't going in, but I think it kind of snuck under Kieran's pads, or don't know if it was tipped or deflected or screened. But you know, sometimes you're going to have nights that aren't going to be the best of luck, and in that department, we didn't maybe have as good a luck.
You talked a little bit about Caroline Campbell. Can you talk more about how she's helped the team so far this season?
Well, she's a kid who's, you know, came here as a defenseman and will play an awful lot of defense in her career. But when you have 3, you know, top players out at forward, sometimes you got to find your best athlete. Maybe a kid who's a big, strong kid that can do some things. And as I've said a few times, I'm very pleased with you know, some of the people that are stepping up here: the Mahonies, the Wileys, the Bearsdorfers, etc. But you know, Caroline's a kid who played on our national team on defense. I'm pretty sure she could probably play some forward and use that skating, that power, that strength that she has to our advantage, and I believe we were accurate on that tonight.
It seemed like Menard was skating really well tonight. She had 2 goals, or she had 2 goals. So can you talk about how she's been stepping up in the absence of some?
Well, she played tremendous, and she's been consistent. I think she's probably right around the point in game right now, maybe a little more, and you know, we had expectations of that. She's somebody who came here scoring 40, 45 points last year. You know, we've probably got a little more depth in the team she played on last year, but with the injuries, she's had to become even more prominent. I thought Louise Warren had a real big game tonight too. You know, may not have been reflective of the score sheet, but when you look at, you know, the time she drove down the left side, when the times, you know, they were killing penalties, she got a piece of the kid's stick, got it in the air when Isabel picked the puck up and scored her first one. And you know, those are little things, but they mean a lot. And she had a heck of a game as well. And you know, their right winger Sarah Beresdorf is showing more and more confidence. So I'd like to see her carry the puck a little more, but she's getting there. You know, she knows she's got two real good players, and probably is being a little too unselfish. You know, always moving the puck to them, but. As time and games grow, she'll get the experience and feel a little more comfortable doing that.
Do you have any updates on how Janelle Kohanchik is doing?
You know, it sure seems like she's getting closer and closer. You know, the concussion and then a little bit of a sort of a shoulder or neck spasm's been bothering her a little. And I think, you know, again, the doctors have to err on the cautious side, which is the right thing to do. But I keep seeing her look like she's feeling good, you know, color and how she's, you know, is around us. But we got to get that little bit of a last decision and make sure she can ride the bike and raise her body temperature up and not have any setbacks. And hopefully that'll be this week. We might get her back next weekend. But I'm not the medical person, so I'll let them decide.
Talk about Sperry's play tonight.
Yeah, very solid. Made a couple of big saves. I think right after they made it 3-2, she had to make a good shoulder stop there. Controlled a couple other plays, and you know, real consistent. I think anytime you give up 2 goals or less, it's a pretty good position to put us in, and you know, she continues to do that each night.
And then you got a game against UConn next week. Can you talk about how like maybe your team will get a few players back maybe next week?
Yeah, we'll get Jen Wakefield back from the European tournament that they're in. She'll be here Monday, I think, and we'll get hopefully Janelle back, but it's still to be determined. But if we know we're getting Jen back, that, you know, gives us a little bit of flexibility on lines. Obviously a great player coming back, and you know, we'll need it because now we'll go back-to-back games with UConn and Providence, and you're going to need the volume, going to need the body, and going to need the depth.